She doesn't chase what's familiar. She chases the presence she can't quite define, the one that feels rare, significant, and just out of reach. You don't win her fascination by moving toward her, but by building a life she feels compelled to step into. The true art of attraction isn't found in pursuit, but in becoming someone worthy of being pursued. This isn't about manipulation. It's about magnetism. By the end of this, you'll understand the invisible architecture that draws people in, not by what you say, but by what you silently are. What if everything you thought about earning attention was actively making you forgettable? The common misunderstanding. Most believe connection is built through exposure, constant contact, validated availability, the reassurance of your perpetual presence. The logic seems sound. Be there, be attentive, be reliable. Yet, this creates a paradox. The more available you are, the more you blend into the background of her life. Your texts become predictable, your attention becomes an expectation, and your value diminishes not because you are lacking, but because you are unlimited. You've made yourself a constant, and constants are noticed only when they're gone. The critical error is believing effort equates to value. But in the human psyche, value is intrinsically tied to perception, and perception is shaped by scarcity. Think of the most coveted items in the world. Their worth isn't in their utility, but in their rarity. Your attention operates on the same principle. When it's given freely and without boundary, it becomes common. When it's measured, intentional, and rooted in your own standards, it transforms into a commodity. She doesn't just want attention, she wants your attention. And for it to hold meaning, she must sense it isn't given to everyone. The psychology of scarcity. Behavioral science points to a powerful driver, the scarcity principle. The human mind assigns greater worth to opportunities, objects, and people that seem less available. This isn't manipulation. It's a cognitive shortcut. Our brains interpret limited access as a signal of higher value. Apply this to human dynamics. A man whose time is dictated by his own mission, whose focus is selective, whose energy is protected, he radiates a different signal. He is not a passive participant in her world. He is the architect of his own. His scarcity isn't about absence. It's about presence elsewhere, on a purpose that matters. She will, consciously or not, begin to question, why is he not like the others? What holds his focus so completely? This curiosity is the birthplace of genuine intrigue. You are no longer just another option in a lineup of similar men. You become a question she feels compelled to answer. And in seeking that answer, her mind invests. Investment, not convenience, is the soil where attraction grows. But how do you project this scarcity without becoming cold or distant? The answer lies in what you build, not what you withhold. Presence, the silent language. While most men are focused on their dialogue, crafting the perfect thing to say, they ignore the dialect that speaks volumes more. Their presence, your posture, your gaze, the calmness in your stillness, the deliberate pace of your movements. These are the unspoken words that form her first and lasting impression. Ancient philosophies understood this. It was less about rhetoric and more about bearing. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That imperative is about embodiment. Your value is communicated not through your explanations, but through your existence in a room. A man centered in himself doesn't seek to anchor others. He is his own anchor. This creates a gravitational pull. Watch any social space. The loudest voice rarely holds the most authority. It's the man who is comfortable in silence, who listens with full attention, who reacts not with reflexive emotion, but with considered response. He owns his space without demanding it. This silent confidence signals a mind at peace with itself, a spirit not easily shaken. That stability is magnetic. Why? Because in a world of constant noise and reaction, a centered presence feels like a refuge. She senses, on a primal level, that here is someone who cannot be easily swayed, whose inner world is ordered. That is compelling. Your energy precedes your words and often renders them secondary. Emotional composure and the power of pause. Closely tied to this is your command over your own reactions. Neediness and insecurity are not just heard, they are felt. They leak through in rushed texts, in overeager agreement, in laughter that's just a bit too loud at your own joke. Conversely, emotional composure, the ability to sit with silence, to hold a pause before responding, to receive praise or criticism with the same measured calm, broadcasts inner strength. This isn't being stoic to the point of emptiness. It's the demonstration that your emotional state is not dependent on her approval. Your validation comes from within your own framework of goals and standards. When you achieve this, every interaction changes. Your words carry weight because they are not plentiful. Your attention feels earned because it is not desperate. You communicate that you are a participant in the interaction, not a prisoner to its outcome. This shifts the entire dynamic. But composure alone isn't enough without a foundation. What is that foundation? Standards and boundaries, the architecture of respect. Here is a truth that reshapes relationships. A woman cannot respect you more than you respect yourself. And self-respect is not a feeling, it's a series of visible actions called boundaries. A boundary is simply what you will and will not tolerate in your life. It's the line that protects your time, your energy, and your peace. Most men fear boundaries, thinking they will seem harsh or unkind. The opposite is true. Clear boundaries are the clearest signal of self-value. They declare, "My life has a structure, and I am its guardian." When you cancel your own plans at her last-minute whim, when you tolerate disrespect disguised as humor, when you are always on call, you are silently announcing that your priorities are negotiable. You become background noise. But when you politely decline because you have prior commitments, when you disengage from drama, when your time is given as a conscious choice and not a default, you become distinct. She now has to navigate the world you've built, not the other way around. This isn't about making her jump through hoops. It's about you having a life with hoops of your own. Goals, routines, people that matter. Suddenly, your attention is no longer a free resource. It's a valued asset. And when she receives it, she knows it was chosen, not simply spent. This creates a profound psychological effect. She starts to align with your standards to remain in your space. Her respect for you grows because she sees you respecting yourself. The chase, in its earliest form, is often just the pursuit of a man's consistent self-regard. So you're scarce, composed, and boundaried. Yet something can still feel missing. What is the engine that makes all this authentic? Purpose, the magnetic core. All the presence and boundaries in the world ring hollow if they're not in service to something. That something is purpose. Purpose is the North Star of your daily actions. It's the project, the craft, the vision that pulls you forward. A man connected to a purpose beyond any single interaction carries a different energy. He is fundamentally less available, not as a tactic, but as a natural consequence of being busy building. His eyes have a focus that looks through the immediate moment toward a horizon. This is intensely attractive. Why? Because purpose embodies competence, direction, and autonomy. Behavioral psychology confirms we are drawn to competence. We are inspired by direction. We trust autonomy. A purpose-driven life makes you a source of inspiration, not a sink for validation. She doesn't just see you, she sees the life you are creating. And she is faced with a compelling choice: to watch from the sidelines, or to find a way to be part of that narrative. Your purpose also creates healthy unpredictability. You are not orbiting her schedule. You are following your own trajectory. This means you are not a predictable, always available stimulus. You become a fascinating variable. She cannot fully map you because your primary allegiance is to a mission, not to her moods. This mystery isn't manufactured, it's organic. It's the natural mystery of a mind engaged in a complex, meaningful task. The man without purpose is like an open book, quickly read and set aside. The man with purpose is a library, full of depth, requiring time and interest to explore. The integration, becoming irreplaceable. Now see how these layers integrate. Scarcity of your time and attention establishes initial value. Presence, your calm, composed bearing, communicates immutable inner strength. Boundaries, your non-negotiable standards, build tangible respect. Purpose, your forward-moving focus, provides an authentic magnetic core. When combined, you are no longer just a man she likes. You become a man she cannot mentally categorize, cannot take for granted, and cannot easily replace. You have moved from being a character in her story to the author of your own, and she's intrigued by the plot. This triggers a deep-seated cognitive bias, the Zeigarnik effect. The mind remembers and fixates on incomplete tasks or unresolved patterns. You, as a person of depth and direction, present an unfinished pattern to her. She cannot fully resolve you, cannot quite predict your next chapter, so her mind works on it. She thinks about you in the spaces between interactions. She wonders. She pieces together observations. This mental investment is where casual interest transforms into solid fascination. She is not chasing you out of mere whim. She is seeking closure to the compelling mystery you represent. Your life itself has become a narrative she wants to follow. But how does this pull work in practice, in the minute-to-minute interactions? It's subtler than you think. The subtle pull. Invisible guidance. High-stakes influence is rarely loud. The most powerful forces, gravity, momentum, trust, are felt, not seen. Attraction operates similarly. The subtle pull is the art of guiding an interaction through energy and implication, not through direct force or declaration. It's in the timing of your response, not immediately, but thoughtfully. It's in the quality of your listening, fully engaged, not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's in the glance held a moment longer, then broken with a slight smile as you turn your attention back to the room. It's in the willingness to end an interaction first, not out of disinterest, but because you honor your own schedule. Each of these micro-actions sends a cohesive signal. I am here, I am engaged, but I am not captive to this moment. My world exists beyond it. This subtle guidance stands in stark contrast to the push of most courtship, the pushing of compliments, of agendas, of premature intimacy. Pushing creates resistance. Pulling creates attraction. You are essentially setting a rhythm, a tempo of engagement that is consistent with your purposeful life, and allowing her the choice to step into sync with it. When she does, it feels like her own discovery, her own desire. That is the key. The pursuit feels authentic to her because you have not pursued. You have simply presented a compelling reality and allowed her the autonomy to approach it. Energy dynamics and reciprocity. This entire framework rebalances the energy dynamic. The typical pattern is one of pursuit. The man invests more, earlier, hoping to prove his worth. This creates an energy deficit. He is constantly giving to earn. The model we're outlining creates energy equilibrium or even a slight surplus. Your primary energy investment is in yourself, your purpose, your growth, your peace. From that surplus, you can interact generously without neediness. Your interactions are then characterized by reciprocity, not subsidy. You share, but you don't overgive. You are interested, but not invested in a specific outcome from her. This equilibrium is felt as stability. She senses she is interacting with a whole person, not a vacancy looking to be filled. It makes the connection feel safe and substantial, yet exhilarating because of the subtle, respectful challenge it presents. What does the final picture look like? When this becomes not a strategy, but your nature, the unforced chase. When scarcity, presence, boundaries, and purpose are woven into the fabric of your daily life, something shifts permanently. The chase is no longer an event you trigger with a person. It is a natural consequence of your way of being, perceived by those around you. You become what we might call irreplaceable. Not because you are perfect, but because you are a unique compound of qualities that is difficult to find elsewhere. Self-possessed, yet engaging, driven yet present, kind yet firm. In her world, other men may offer pieces, humor, attention, affection, but you offer a context. A man who is the center of his own solar system is far more compelling than one who wishes to be a planet in hers. She begins to measure others, not against their love for her, but against your standard of self-command. This is the ultimate shift. You are no longer evaluated on what you provide to her, but on what you represent as a human being. And what you represent is autonomy, value, and depth. The desire to be near you, to understand you, to earn a place in your focused life that emerges organically from her. It is not manufactured by your tactics, but inspired by your totality. The chase is her journey toward the man you already are. Living the philosophy. This is not a persona to adopt for weekends or first dates. This is a foundational philosophy for masculine living. It begins and ends with how you treat your own time when no one is watching. Do you honor your commitments to yourself? Do you protect your hours for deep work? Do you cultivate your mind and body with discipline? This internal governance manifests externally without a word spoken. Every choice to read over scroll, to create over consume, to sleep well over late-night chit-chat is a brick in the structure of a formidable presence. Women, attuned to nuance, will sense the solidity of that structure. They may not articulate it as scarcity or boundaries, but they will feel it as substance, strength, and mystery. The final, most critical question: can you sustain this when genuine feelings are involved? Authenticity in intimacy. The greatest test of this framework is when you truly care. The instinct is to abandon it, to make her the center, to give unlimited access, to dissolve boundaries in the name of love. This is the crucible. The principles are not a prelude to intimacy. They are its sustaining architecture. In a committed dynamic, scarcity transforms into selective prioritization. Your purpose remains, but she may become a cherished part of its expression. Presence becomes deep, attentive connection. Boundaries become the mutual agreements that protect the health of the union. The core remains. Your sense of self, your mission, your self-respect are not negotiable, even in love. In fact, they are what make your love valuable and secure. A relationship built on two whole individuals choosing each other is infinitely more stable and passionate than one built on two halves seeking completion. Your unwavering commitment to your own growth becomes the gift that keeps the attraction dynamic alive, forever moving forward, never stagnating. Conclusion: the man of substance. This journey has never been about learning tricks to make her chase. It has been about undergoing a transformation that makes chasing you the only logical response to who you are. It's the transformation from a man who seeks value through external validation to a man who embodies value through internal command. From a man who asks, "Do you like me?" to a man who states through his existence, "This is who I am." The former is a question that begs an answer. The latter is a statement that invites exploration. The path to becoming that man is paved with daily disciplined choices that honor your time, your mind, and your mission. It is quiet, often solitary work, but the result is a presence that carries weight in any room, a calm that inspires confidence, a life that attracts curiosity. She won't chase a ghost or a player. She will, however, instinctively move toward a mountain, solid, immense, and inspiring. Become the mountain, not to be conquered, but to be admired, to be climbed by those worthy of the journey, to offer a view from the top that changes her perspective forever. The power was never in convincing her. It was in constructing a self that is inherently convincing. Start that construction today, brick by intentional brick. Your next conversation, your next decision, your next quiet hour, they are all raw materials. What will you build?